Hello and welcome to episode 20 of Battlegrounded with Martin. It is Friday the 3rd of November and I forgot to do an episode in advance for this, so I've already had some whiskey, so this is going to be a good episode, I'm telling you that. Today I'm going to take us to the ruins over here near the Sunken City. It was an area that was recommended before by someone I met in-game, if you remember. I can't remember which episode number that was, but it was, you know, they said, go check out the ruins. So I'm going to do that. I also wanted to talk about... I've been playing Destiny 2 all evening. Also, my friend wants to play with me. I've been playing Destiny 2 all evening, and thinking... I suppose what I'm thinking about right now is actually the difference in the immediacy of it. So I've been thinking about this game, and what I find really fun about it is that this isn't talking about lore necessarily. I think lore is a whole different thing that I'm not necessarily... Lore has never been something that I've been super interested in games or in media generally. I think if there's too much lore in a game, then it actually puts me off it a little bit. What I like about this game is I feel like the situation that you're dropped into immediately makes sense to me. Admittedly, because it's explicitly riffing off Battle Royale, you know, a movie that I have seen and that is very well known. You know, the concept, the high concept of Battle Royale, dropped onto an island and have to fight, one person survives, is very easy to understand. Which means that this game, to me, immediately makes sense what you have to do. And I think it's one of the reasons why it plays so well for streamers. Because you can log on to someone streaming this, and even if you've never played the game before, I think you will very, very quickly pick up what you're supposed to be doing in it. And I'm thinking about Destiny 2. I just want to talk about this game because I've just been playing it, and it's on my mind. I don't understand what the hell I'm doing in Destiny 2. I feel like I'm just shooting baddies, but I don't understand why. Or why they're really the baddies, except for one of them has a mean voice and looks weird, compared to our heroes who all look good and have good voices by celebrity voice actors. I'm confused about that game, everybody. I'm confused about games like that. I think what it reminds me of, actually, is Borderlands. I only played Borderlands 2, and I didn't understand what I was doing in it. I felt like I was constantly trying to get the next weapon up, but I also didn't really care, because every single weapon felt disposable to me. I feel that same thing about Destiny 2, actually. It's pushing me into... I don't understand why I care about any of these weapons. I don't know, I've only played like 3 hours. I should stop talking about that game. That's not what this series is about. Alright, ruins. So, this scenery should be familiar to you from my video about Stelba. The scenery here is very, very similar to the scenery you find in Stelba. It's the same kind of ruined columns and like castle and things. There's also the church up on the hill up ahead of you, up over here, which is another use of that church model, which I've shown you in previous videos. And again, if the circle closes around here, you can get up on top of it and get pretty good sight lines. Although an interesting thing about this one is, of course, you've got the big hill next to it. So it's actually... There are lots of ways to get an equal level, and you've actually got this similar big hill over here. One of the interesting things I think about this area is it's right up on the river. So oftentimes, I've had 2 or 3 final circles around here, and I usually end up approaching it by boat from the river, and sort of doing a little landing and trying to sneak up. And I don't think I've ever got that far on final circles around here, primarily because I take that tactic, because this area is exposed and there are lots of very good sightlines on it. Someone camped up on here, for example. Look at this amazing sniper's nest you've got here. You can see all the way over to there in every direction. You can see the boats on the river. You can watch your back fairly easily. You've got good cover. Anyone coming off the river, you've immediately got a shot on. So, you know, I feel like I'm learning something about my own tactics here. Stop trying to go in off the river. You could probably hear Dragon in the background, who is the pet cockatiel I'm taking care of. who, whenever he hears me recording a video, likes to scream. Oftentimes I play this game actually... Oh, there's a person there, so let's take it easy. This is interesting. I didn't expect anyone would drop here. I thought it'd be fairly quiet. I don't often find a lot of people around here. Let's follow them and see where they're going. See what their game is. Got to stay low. Try to avoid getting spotted. I may have already been spotted, but not sure. May have actually heard me because I am talking into an open microphone. They've got a shotgun and not much else. I wonder if they landed here or if they moved here of their own accord. Let's see if I can get closer to them. I like sneaking up on people a little bit in this game mode. I think it's interesting. You end up doing a little bit of documentary reporting. I will say we've got a not very good circle well over there, so they're going to have to start moving fairly soon. Now, where did they go? Moved into that area. See if I can move in a little bit without getting spotted. It's not a great sneaking mission. Okay, shotgun coming in. Shotgun fire happening over there. Is that on me? Where is that? Didn't get... Oh no, there was an S12K kill, so it may well have been them. Let's see if I can find them. Sneaking in. Just doing some solid snake shit over here. Feeling very exposed. Maybe I should get on my belly. Fully solid snake it. Where did they go? As I said, this is I've had some whiskey episode, so we're going to have to see how it actually ends up playing out. Right, I'm moving around this side. See if I can spot them. Don't have any eyes on them just yet, but let's try and move in a little. I'm going to hit the deck here. Now, where could they be? Somewhere around here. Let's turn my volume up a second. Can't hear anything. That doesn't mean that they can't hear me. Alright, so we are immediately seeing one of the fascinating things about this is it's next to this big hill, which I usually refer to as the Halfpipe. There's quite a few big, quite steep hills in this big green area between the ruins and the sunken city and the school. Let me just show you it on a map. So this area between the school and the ruins, very hilly but quite steep hills and big deep bowls as well. As I say, I refer to it as the Halfpipe because when you're driving a vehicle along it, it does feel like you're dropping into a pool on a skateboard or something like that. You often end up taking quite big jumps or more often flipping your vehicle. Now I cannot find this person, so I assume they are gone. Let's keep moving through here and see where it takes us. I'm going to try and run us over the Halfpipe because I think it's a fascinating area to explore on foot. Obviously in a vehicle you've got lots of big jumps, but on foot you really get a sense for the up and down of it, the verticality of this map. Gosh, Dragon is very upset with me recording this video without him on my shoulder. What I was going to say earlier was I often play this game with Dragon on my shoulder, which means I have the added difficulty setting of Dragon trying to chew my headphone wires and attack me and sing directly into my ear, and that's also a fun gift for anyone who I'm playing with. They have to deal with Dragon screaming throughout, so I've actually kind of incorporated it into how I play the game. It would be very strange for me to play this game without that. Alright, I think I can see someone. Yeah, you can see someone else running over the Halfpipe. I just about spotted them in the middle distance, right over there. So that might be the person I saw before, or it might be someone completely else trying to flee from the sunken city. Have I done a video on the sunken city yet? I don't think I have. Amazing environment. Very, very cool. I'm not going to do it here because I won't do it justice in the few minutes before the blue zone comes and kills me. But here we are, the Halfpipe. As you can see, lots of big, steep hills, ups and downs, indentations and weird bits that you can sort of hide in, which I think is a good choice because this is a big open green area, but it means that if you're on your tummy and the circle closes around here, which I feel like it does surprisingly often actually, although it's probably confirmation bias on my point, then it means you've got really interesting scenery, even though there are no houses and there's very little above ground cover. Like there's a rock over there, there's a couple of trees, but generally it's quiet. What you instead have is these big outcroppings here that you end up running up and down on. Is that someone over there? No, it's not. It is some dirt on my screen. So the blue circle is closing in on me. Here we go, another little, this would be like the beginner's half pipe for like the younger skaters who are still learning, who don't want to start in on the big half pipe just yet. A lot of shooting going on over the hill. That'll be people trying to run for the circle. So, I hope you're enjoying this video series, everybody. I'm enjoying making it. Yeah. Sorry for just talking about Destiny 2 at the start of this video for 10 minutes, but it struck me as different in how I immediately approach it and how it immediately takes me, and how it immediately grabs my interest. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run towards this red zone that's just appeared on the hill up over here. Because I think the red zone's an interesting mechanic, largely because it kills you relatively rarely, but I think it communicates to new players, interestingly, that you need to get inside and to avoid, you know, driving, and it adds to the sense of fear you have. Never found this tent before. It's interesting. People camping up next to the city. The red zone, I think, is a tactic that is part of making you feel unsafe in the map, which I think is the fundamental fear, the fundamental emotion that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds want you to feel. It wants you to feel unsafe most of the time, and I think it does that really masterfully. I think to have a game that's, you know, shooters are so often about power. First-person shooters are so often about, look how strong I am, look how good a shot I am, look how good I am at mastering my environment, mastering these guns and all the rest of it. This game makes you feel weak and exposed and scared and vulnerable almost all the time. And almost every design decision in it, I think, is designed to really exacerbate that. From the incredibly loud guns that you can hear miles away, through to the fact that none of the buildings and cover are really perfect or even that good. I think, you know, if you get to a really pro level where you're, you know, driving towards fights and you know, doing quick sniper shots and all that sort of thing, then you lose a bit of that, but, you know, that's fine, that's high level play, whatever. I think when you're playing this at a lower level, and, you know, I think for the general player base, this is a game about feeling vulnerable, and so many of the design decisions, from, you know, this low-level corn to the red zone suddenly appearing and making you feel like you have to be indoors, through to the circle constantly closing, the blue zone feeling so intimidating. Like, this is a game about feeling vulnerable, and I think that's really important, and I think that's why it feels exciting. You know, I think about this game as something which has energized streamers. The other thing which energizes streamers is horror games. I'm speaking quickly because I'm about to die. Horror games are good because you get to watch someone else get scared and frightened and become vulnerable. And this is a game which makes people scared and frightened and vulnerable. Gives a strong emotional reaction, which is fascinating to watch, you know? I think it's not... You know, you can watch someone be really, really good at a game, and that's good if you understand the game, but if you don't understand the game, what you're watching for is for the streamer's emotional reaction, and this is a game which is about bringing the maximum possible emotional reaction out of you, and I think that's really precious and interesting, and I really like this video game. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Battlegrounded. I don't know what it was, but hopefully it's something. If you've enjoyed this, please hit like, and please subscribe, and please leave a comment, and please share this with people, because it's really helpful. Thanks very much.